What's up, guys? We got another reaction. Fox News got the tapes on Pelosi's arrest for DUI. So, Nancy Pelosi's husband, if you don't know who that is. So, let's watch this.
We finally got our hands on the mountains of evidence that the Pelosi's have spent months trying to cover up. The picture of Paul Pelosi's DUI is finally starting to come together. Every second of that night was documented in excruciating detail. And we have all of it.
RICO laws.
There was a witness that saw the whole thing, but I told him to stick around and he bailed. No idea where he went.
But the
Witnesses on the run,
so
that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's a whole lot more. We have the dash cam footage, the dispatch tapes, photos, reports, everything. It paints a very dark picture. It's obvious to anyone with two eyes, this is not a misdemeanor. This is a felony. The cops admitted how serious it was on the tape they've been hiding. They told Paulie he was lucky to be alive.
You guys are both actually really lucky that the crash wasn't a lot more serious than it was in terms of injuries. Because there's crashes that I've been to a lot less damage than this where people have turned out more seriously injured.
The cops knew this was serious, felony level serious.
Damn.
Yet today,
that's crazy.
Papa Paulie cut a plea deal anyway and only got a slap on the wrist. 3 years probation, a DUI course, some court fees, and 5 days in jail, but he doesn't have to spend any time in jail. He only has to do 1 day of community service.
How does that work?
And he has to install a little ignition device, so he has to blow into a little tube every time he starts the Porsche. The rest, knocked out. DUI attorneys in Napa are telling Primetime this is the bare minimum of what somebody could have gotten in this case.
Yeah.
And if this tape had come out, there would have been no way the DA would have let Paul off with such an easy plea. This definitely would have been charged as a felony, and he definitely would have been given prison. That's why they hid the tape until after the plea deal and waited until this morning to release the footage.
Well, how convenient.
The second Paulie P was in the clear. They clicked send. But let's take a closer look at what happened that night and walk through it step by step, so you can decide if the punishment fits the crime. From the second cops heard about it on their radio, they knew this was major.
2 vehicles involved, moderate to major damage.
And they knew exactly who they were dealing with. Listen carefully.
I ran the sports plate, and I think they said we lost.
Everybody knows Papa Paulie in Napa.
Yeah.
But what was he doing there? This is late at night. Where's Nancy? Those questions would have to wait while the officers first tended to the victim.
What happened?
I saw the car coming.
He was coming toward the intersection?
From the stop to here, he kept coming.
Very fast?
Fast.
From the left side, right?
From the left side.
And what happened after the accident?
Well, nothing.
I'm going to tell you what you told me, and tell me if this is correct. You were coming in this direction, north, approximately between 45 and 50 miles per hour. You were approaching the intersection. You saw the other car on the other side. He came in this direction at high speed. You didn't have time to do anything.
Brake.
Yes, brake. And then you felt the impact. The car went out of control. After the accident, people started to arrive. Anything else?
That's everything.
Okay, wait here for 1 second.
So the victim doesn't speak any English, and we'll get into that later. So while this is all happening, Paulie was on the other side of the street. He'd somehow crawled out of his totaled Porsche and was busy fumbling through his wallet looking for his right ID, which must have been easier said than done because the police report said that Papa Paul handed them his police donor card instead of his driver's license. Now, Primetime did get one thing wrong about this story, and we need to issue a correction because facts are important. Originally, we told you Paulie P flashed a gold donor card, but we were wrong and we're sorry for that. Turns out it was actually a platinum card, which you get for a minimum donation of $100,000. It's only for, you know, real big investment gurus like Papa Paul.
Yeah.
But the cops weren't buying it. Watch this.
You were obviously the one driving the vehicle, right? Nobody else was controlling it somehow. have you consumed any medicine or any drugs as of today? How many medications do you generally take on an everyday basis? Any of those medications impair your ability to drive or anything like that? Do you happen to know the names of the medications off the top of your head?
I have it on my phone.
Do you know what you take it for? As far as the medications, all the ones that you've consumed today, when was the last time that you've consumed them? Do you feel any effects right now from any of those medications? If you feel like you're not impaired, we could just skip to doing a breath test. Yeah, you can grab onto my shoulder. Yeah, so feet together, arms on your sides. You're going to lift up the sky, and then you're going to close your eyes, and then I'm going to say begin. And then I don't want you to injure yourself. Would you be willing to do the breathalyzer test? And I wouldn't want you to fall over and hurt yourself. Are you sure you could complete the test? Okay. Because I really don't want you to fall over and hurt yourself. That's the last thing I want. Right, but that defeats the whole purpose of the test, grabbing onto a patrol car. So I'm requesting that you take a breathalyzer test. It's a voluntary test, but so
No,
none of the tests
haven't.
are pass or fail. Are you willing to do the breathalyzer test? Right. No, I understand you want to go home. You were involved in a crash.
Right.
I smell alcohol coming from your breath. I can see you're very unsteady on your feet.
And when Paulie realized things weren't really going his way, he pulled do you know who I am? Wait. Can we hear
So
that
you're
one more
trying to
time?
bribe
And then this time
police
keep it rolling?
officers. He's trying to bribe law enforcement.
Right. No, I understand who you are, and I'm not here to try to do anything to draw any negative attention to you. If you've been honest with me, there's really nothing that you should be worried about in terms of the alcohol you consume. If you've been honest with me about your consumption being only two glasses of alcohol.
Yeah, but the police, to their credit, didn't really buy his excuses, and he had a couple.
By myself, I drove up here today. My wife's back in the East Coast. All her security is back there.
Yeah, she's on the East Coast because she don't want to be around all the homeless and drug use and just the shithole that California is.
That's something that I want to personally do, but
You do not say, if I say no to the test, you're going to arrest me.
this is directly from the district attorney's office in Napa County. You are required by state law to submit to a chemical test to determine the alcohol content in your blood.
I say yes, then whatever.
Then you take the test.
Well, you don't have that right. So call an attorney at this point.
So Paul knew that he was too drunk to drive, but he wasn't being honest with the officers, and he knows that if he's going to take the test, he's going to get popped. I mean, look at the scene.
Yeah.
This was a totally chaotic scene. 2 wrecked cars,
Exactly.
busted airbags, broken fences. I mean, if you see some of these things, first of all, why was the other airbag deployed in the passenger seat if no one was there? But that's besides the point.
Exactly.
This could have been vehicular manslaughter.
Exactly.
This could have been vehicular homicide. I mean, these 2 guys could have died. I don't know. Remember, when they told us that no one got hurt, well, they had these pictures, and they were hiding them. Pictures of Paul's bruised and bloody hands. Look at that. And if you look closely, he doesn't have his wedding ring on. Well, I don't know if he's just one of those guys that doesn't wear his ring. I don't know. So what now? Will there be any consequences for the people who covered this up? Like Napa County DA Allison Haley? Hey, Allie. I mean, she didn't do anything by the book. Allie thinks this case is her golden ticket to higher office in California.
Oh, yeah, I guarantee it.
After brokering a plea deal for Paul Polosi, she never has to worry about fundraising for the rest of her life.
Nope.
This thing was big, and she swept it under the rug. But she says today she handled the case like any other case.
Yeah,
It's sort of
okay.
a case of he's getting special treatment just because of who he is, who he's married to.
So we evaluated this case based on the facts as they came forward and made our charging decision like we do in any other case.
Yeah, okay. And then she took a shot at primetime.
This case has been unusual in Sometimes I watch news coverage and it's like they're talking about a completely different case. And it started way back when I had representatives saying that I had dropped charges. I hadn't even pressed charges yet. And it sort of has gone through this cycle of these bizarre facts, none of which are true. I can just assure you
I just
that
watched the facts.
My attention, my focus has been on what the evidence has been as it's come into the office.
Well, he must be watching another case coverage because, you know, we never said that she dropped charges. We just got a lot of info 3 hours ago. And I just want to give a hand to the primetime team who did an excellent job gathering up all these materials and putting it together tonight. But we're not done. This is just a little taste. We have a lot of material to go through, and we're going to have more for you guys tomorrow. Brian Claypool is a DUI attorney, and he's been following the case with us and joins me now. All right, so Brian, your reaction to what we saw tonight?
Yeah. Hey, Jesse, great to be back with you. This is a script.
This is just classic American politics. They do something that's blatantly against the law and they get a tiny little slap on the wrist. I'm surprised he even got probation or anything like that. I'm highly surprised he even got that. It's become commonplace. The American public is so used to politicians not receiving any punishment for their crimes that it's sickening. It's ridiculous. And then the Pelosi family and the Biden family, they might as well be crime families. They should be tried under the RICO laws with Nancy Pelosi and Paul Pelosi and their insider trading. I don't understand why anybody would vote for her or even want her as like the Speaker of the House. I remember when I was a kid, California was a beautiful, beautiful place. It was like one of the last bastions of free thought. It was something that I remember being a kid, like I always wanted to go to California and visit California. And then as an adult, when I finally got the chance and I get there, the ground literally glitters with needles. And there's homelessness everywhere. There's a guy taking a shit in the middle of the sidewalk. Like, I was so disgusted. I had a whole week vacation planned out. I stayed there for one day. I drove to Las Vegas and spent the rest of my my time there. So I don't understand why anybody would want the Pelosi's in charge of anything. So I'm surprised that he got in the trouble that he did. And yeah, we'll just leave it at that. We'll see what else comes out in the coming days. Like and subscribe.